Hi, everyone. This is Larry Markson.
And this is Dr. Mary Power.
And together, as you know, we've been doing a Facebook Live every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And we also have a YouTube channel, Change Your Mind and Change Your Life. And this is chapter 8. The first 7 chapters you can get if you've missed by going to the YouTube channel, Change Your Mind and Change Your Life. By the way, that's the theme of the teaching that I've been doing for many years. If you change your mind, your concepts, your beliefs, you'll change your actions, and as a result, you'll find your life moving around until it finds out that it can be incongruent with your goals. So Mary, why don't we start with the topic tonight, which is the biggie. This is a biggie. More than you think, more people than you know, or can even believe that you know, are what we call procrastinators. So, Mary?
Oh, yes, definitely. Procrastination is in everyone's back pocket, and whether or not you let it take over your daily routine is what we're going to be addressing today. You know, the simple slogan, don't put off to tomorrow what you can do today. You know, are you leaving dirty dishes in your sink? Are you leaving your college students out there? Are you waiting until the very last hour to turn in your homework or your essay papers, etc.? These are all different levels and forms of procrastination, but we're going to break it down in a little more detail for you today.
So that doesn't mean if you're a procrastinator, everybody does a little bit. So we're not talking about the occasional person. We're talking about a procrastinator that it's hard for you to make decisions. You have to weigh the balances to make a decision. You have to ask other people's opinions. You have to pray to God. You have to see the evidence. You have to be pretty sure in advance that what you're going to do is going to be successful, or you don't do it alone. It's like a fear of failure. So procrastinate, you say, oh, that person's a procrastinator. You flippantly say it. That means they're not on time, they're not accurate, their home looks like it, their office looks like it, they're scattered. Everything's all over. So part of that is clutter, which we'll talk about later. So procrastinate is a section of your mind that won't allow you to be orderly in your mind and in your world.
Yes. And so then things get put off. So maybe it's a matter of a big decision that needs to be made. It's crucial that we make these decisions timely, but if procrastination comes into play and we put things off, there's missed opportunities that happen. You know, this can come into play. We just talked about goals and vision and visualization and how you reach all the things you want. Well, the stealer of those dreams or the killer of those dreams is really procrastination, because it can make you lose a lot of those opportunities or that momentum in moving forward in your life.
So procrastination is people that have failed at tasks. They've attempted to do something, even, by the way, it comes from childhood, but you failed to do it, you were punished for doing it, you failed at a task, so you're afraid to do it again. So you put it off. You have doubt. So people say, oh, you make up your mind, what do you want? So here's my famous story. I have someone in my family or an ex-member of the family, but this is not why. So one day at 6 o'clock, we're in the home with my grandchildren and my daughter and my son. We're in the home. And I say, okay, it's Sunday night. No woman here is cooking. We're going to bring in food. Pop-Up's paying. That's it. And so I said, so what do you want? I said to the father, my son-in-law, I said, well, what do you want? Do you want Chinese? You want Italian food? What do you want? You bring in delicatessen, whatever you want. And he goes, can I get back to you? So that's a procrastination. Now, at that time, my little 5-year-old looked up and said, Pop, I would like Chinese. And I said, see, I almost used his name. So I said to him, so you see, that's not hard because you can't go wrong. Right. You can't, but people still want to think about it. I don't know. Other people, we have a good friend said, I just went to help her buy a car, a single woman who has lost her husband. So I went to help her this week, and it sat down. I said, so what color you want? She said, well, I really want white, but I don't know, I'm open. Okay, so let's look around. We looked around at all the cars and, you know, gray and blue and black and whatever other colors like that. What do you feel? He says, no, it really doesn't matter. I prefer white, I think, but okay. End of the day, we walked out with a gray car. So, in other words, there's no goals in procrastination. The goal is neatness and cleanness, not only in your physical world, but in your mental world as well. So, by the way, we're going to talk about clutter in a moment. If you're cluttered on the outside, if your room is a mess, if you don't make your bed, if you don't clean out your sink, your dirty dish in the sink, that's telling you something about your personality, and it affects every aspect of you.
Yes. So procrastination will steal those opportunities from you. It slows you down. If you have this list of things that you need to get done, even if you're talking about your goals and your action steps, and you avoid those and you keep putting those off, procrastination becomes a huge self-sabotager, because now you're telling yourself, this is what I want, yet I'm not willing to do it. I'm not willing to put in the work. I'm not willing to be the person I need to be to get this done. So there's a trickle effect of things that start with procrastination. So if you have made that list, be willing to knock it out as well. Use your check marks and get it check marked off, because that is what moves you forward.
So I wonder if I walked into a home, because that was my thought just a minute ago. I walk in a home and I see an unmade bed or dirty dishes, much like my kids went to college and we walked into the dormitory. And I walked in like this because I'm a neat freak. Everything's in its place. Everything has its place. I clean as I go. I take off my clothes at night. I don't throw them on the floor. I either put them in the laundry or I hang them back up. And so it's neat, and I start every day fresh. But I wonder if people really even see it after a while. It's just the way it is for them. The bed is not made. Right, yes. And it starts in the beginning. So in my life, and this is, I'm older than most of you. So even as a boy, I had to make my bed every single day, every day. That was the rules of my house, or else, right? And so reluctantly I did. Or if I didn't, then I couldn't have ice cream, or I couldn't, something was taken away. Cause and effect. So even now, if my wife is at the house first, let's say, I'm making this up, and then I just straighten out the bed. I don't, maybe not make it, but I straighten it out so it's clean when you walk in. Same thing in your office. Your office should be the same way. So I believe, Mary, I think you would agree. I'm saying that the people that I have consulted, now remember, it's over 30,000 people. The ones that are procrastinators, which is a great percentage in varying degrees, but I'm not talking about 10%, I'm talking about much, much more than that. I think there's a low self-esteem component to their personality. It's about fear of failure, yes. fear of self-image, fear of focus. In other words, I don't have a focus. I don't have a specific goal. Today, at such and such a time, I'm going to do this or that, and these are the action steps I'm going to take. So it's a delay. It's a delay thing.
I think fear really plays a huge part in that. And thinking about us doing this video today, I thought a lot about that why do people procrastinate? And it is a way to stay in your comfort zone. Because if I make these big dreams and I make these goals, or I decide I want to do X, I have to do things to get there that pull me out of where I am right now. And that's a comfort. And so procrastination is the way I get to stay where I am. Maybe I really do want that, but if I do that, I'm going to be very uncomfortable. I'm unsure. It puts me in unknown territory. So if I procrastinate on doing those things, even though part of me in my head really wants it, if I stay over here and procrastinate, I'm comfortable. The unknown is scary for a lot of people.
Mary, do you think you're born a procrastinator, or do you think that it's a habit acquired in childhood?
I think it's a habit acquired in childhood. I don't think we're born with hesitancies.
No, the only thing two fears we're born with is loud noises and heights, and all the rest is acquired. So it's acquired somehow. So I know people that are just that way, and they're procrastinators. And then the worst, the kiss of death, I say, well, you're a procrastinator. My God, you got to be more decisive. It'll help you in every area of your life. And they say, that's just the way I am. I accept, because I'm too old to change now. And all of those negative. It affects, procrastination affects every area of your life. So in a wonderful book that I just that I know something about is a couple of action steps that I just turned to last night, knowing we would record. So this is my book, and on the procrastination. To control procrastination, completion must be the crusade. That's the first thing, action step. In other words, the goal is not to be a procrastinator, to be clean and neat and organized and on time, leaving room for the universe to fill in the empty place. Number two is without organization, you're going to be scattered. To organize your plan for the day. Number three, never create stacks of paper, stacks around your office. And after all, you don't even see them. You could have a desk cluttered and you say, well, I know where everything is. I said, okay, find me this, that, and the other. And you go right to it. But it still is stacks. All right, so no stack. Time must be respected, right? Refuse to live in tomorrow.
Stay in today, present time consciousness.
That's right. Present time, perfect, right? Open yourself up to help. Right? So in other words, help me. So I helped some people. The three areas to see if there's clutter in your house, by the way, if there's clutter around you. I have my clients, whether a professional consultation or a personal one, they go together. I said, okay, the drawer in the kitchen, now we have the junk, that one drawer that everything's in there, clean it up. So they clean it up and it fills back up. Okay, because that's the junk drawer. So I look in the trunk of the car, I look in the garage, tells me a lot. So my garage has cabinets in it and everything's hung the way it's supposed to be. Every once in a while we have to clean that out too. So and your desk, areas that you're around all the time. And then, okay, and so I want to look at your depth of commitment. Mary, one thing that I like about you when I was coaching with you and watching you build this wonderful success that you're enjoying now is you were committed. You said, I'm committed. So I know people, okay, so I'm going to go on a diet, but nobody goes on a diet. We're recording this right now on a Thursday morning. Okay, it airs at 9 o'clock on next Monday night, but it's Thursday morning now. So we are committed to do what we want to do. So it's appearance. Right. I know that every Thursday morning, I'm going to speak to Mary at a certain time. We do it by Zoom, and we do it every single Thursday morning. She's never late. I'm never late. We're always on time. Or if something has to change, of course, you have to leave room for that. So if procrastination is not in my life, Mary, what possibilities can fill in that space?
Oh, it's endless. It really is that list of whatever you want, because if you create habits that replace your procrastinating habits, if you replace those with I am going to get things done habits, then the sky's the limit. Procrastination just keeps you stuck in your stuff.
What would you say the number one opposite of procrastination is? What's the number one ingredient of success?
Decisiveness.
Okay, so I asked her a question, and that's the exact decisiveness. So it's the decisive. So let's say I know I'm overweight, right? Mm-hmm. I know I'm overweight, and I'm trying to diet. One thing, there's no such thing as a try. You're doing it or you're not. So let's say you set a goal, and today is October 1st. Right now is today. So I'm going to set a goal that by January 1st, 3 months, I'm going to be down 15 pounds, 5 pounds a month. I'm just making it up now. And so when am I going to start? So then I have to have a decision. I want to be 15 pounds lighter. The date certain, which is the goaling portion that we discussed, which is January 1st. The action steps going to take. I'm going to push away the Oreo cookies. I'm not going to have carbs. I'm going to exercise, whatever action steps you're going to take. And then you monitor it. But there's no such thing as going back. So if you stop, most people start off because they're committed. I'm going to do it. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and 5. Then who they are takes over. And my point is you have to change who you are.
Yes, you do. Because if you start that whole process and then you make all this big decision and you go, well, I'm not going to start for 4 or 5 days. So now I've made a decision, but I'm going to procrastinate, sabotage, be somebody that I don't want to be for 4 days before you start the diet. So if you've made a decision to change something in your life, change immediately. If you commit in that moment, make that change and the change happens now. Yes, there's some things you're going to have to make perfect. There's some things you're going to have to modify and change. But allowing yourself this window of time to not be so committed is really self-sabotage, and it is a worse form of procrastination. So one, deciding is huge, but two, not moving forward in that decision is a form of procrastination too. So deciding is not always enough.
So one, the decision is you don't label yourself. I'm a procrastinator. That's like saying I'm fat or I smoke. That's an affirmation. You're telling yourself what you don't want to do. So let's say you set a goal. Decisive number one, I am going to eliminate procrastination from my life. And just let's use whatever it is, the unmade bed, right? So I'm gonna do that, and every day that I do it. So if I did it for a week, I'll say, oh my God, for 1 week I made my bed. Then I draw a big check in front of me. They have even a emoji that's a check. And for me, every time I do something successful, I make a check mark. So if I'm not a procrastinator, if today was successful and I'm achieving what I wanted, and maybe you can't get it all done, just move the goal, but don't say I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I was unable. Move the goal to the next day and then check. I said I was going to do it, and I do it. All right, let's talk a little bit about clutter, Mary.
Yeah, so clutter, if you have, like he talked about, clutter in the garage, clutter in your office, clutter in your life in general, it's showing you in your mind the unorganized, I have too much on my plate, so how can I start something else? How can the universe bring me something else if I've got all this clutter? So choose to clean up one area of your life and watch and see what happens. So maybe that's clean out your closet. The other day, I decided to go through my closet and I took out everything that I knew I hadn't worn in the last year, regardless of size, favor, how much I loved it. I donated it to Goodwill, and you get tax write-offs for that anyway. So clean out your closet and allow, one, it looked great and organized and everything was straight again. So that was just a small thing I did to open up. Now, I'm not expecting that thousands of clothes are going to come back into it, but it needed cleaned up. I hated the way it looked. It was a toleration every time I walked in there.
By next year, the closet will be filled to capacity. So in seminars, I have a seminar saying of mine, success cannot flow into clutter. In fact, not only can it does not flow into clutter. So I'm not talking about a closet now. That's a physical representation of clutter, messiness, right? I'm talking about messy thoughts. I'm talking about a messy life. I'm talking about anxiety, not being able to sleep, being well pumped up because your head is always running. That's clutter too. Your mind is cluttered with little things. So Mary and I, we set goals. We write toleration lists. What am I tolerating? What am I putting up with that if I get rid of in my life, I have more time and more clarity? So I'm talking about cluttered minds create failure and unhappiness and stress and disease. So how do you unclutter it? So I do goals, and so does Mary. I do meditations. We talked about that last night. I do visualizations. I think in pictures. I notice something that's very in place and organized, and I say, wow, that's my goal, to be like that. So I set goals. So it's not life is not random. Life is there with rules and the law of cause and effect. What you put out, you get back. So if I change my world to be uncluttered in my physical world, and then in my emotional world, then I have all this room to attract into my life whatever it is I go for.
Right, exactly. Being in a disarray or not organized, not knowing what you really want in life is what we're talking about. You can't just, yes, we talk about present time consciousness, living in today, but living in today with a purpose of what I want in the future is quite different than living day to day and not having a clue what you want in life. Everybody tends to say, I want more, but when we ask you what is more, you can't define that. So if you can't define that, you are just merely just traveling through time without a direction, without a compass. And so all of these videos we've done up to today is laying out your compass of your direction and where you want to go in life. And then you can be more strategic and on point and avoid procrastination or battle that procrastination and conquer it so that it is not the barrier in moving forward.
Yeah, so here's something I just thought that happened to me this week in the way of procrastination. So I know a woman who's a single woman, lovely woman, pretty woman, smart woman, has all the ingredients, and she was divorced some years ago, and she's still a single woman. And she says, "Now I'm ready. My kids are grown. Now I'm ready to have a partner." I said, "So what are you doing about that?" She said, "Well, I'm hoping to meet someone." Well, yeah, but how are you going to meet someone? Do you? I didn't use the word. Do you go to bars? Do you go to meetings of some? Do you join a club? Do you go online? Do you tell your friends that you're ready? You know, I want referral dates, dating by referral, whatever. Well, no, no, no. So in other words, that's procrastination. You say, I want to meet someone, but you're doing nothing about it because something's telling me you don't feel worthy to meet someone. Or maybe I was divorced, right? And oh, I don't want to go through that again. All the things that stop you. So what Mary and I are saying to you, why don't you clean it out? Take those thoughts and say, that's the old you, not the new you, and we have to start again. So clutter, I mean, get the broom, get the dustpan, get the vacuum cleaner, and it's not only for your environment, but it's in your head.
Yes, and literally looking for new opportunities in life, you need to look at what is stealing all of your time right now, and is it worthy of your time? If you trade your time in each day, make sure it's worthy of it. Now, sometimes that time needs to be a moment of relaxation. I'm not saying you have to work from daylight to dark. That's not what I mean. I mean, be sure that your time is valuable enough to you to serve you well. That means some time to rest, some time to visualize, some time to meditate, some time to look at your goals, some time to actually put in the work. But all of these things, you know, if you're just so busy, how many of us have spent an afternoon feeling like you were just busy all afternoon and you're just wore out, but when you look at the whole day, it's like, I didn't get anything accomplished. That's the busyness of clutter in your mind that we're talking about. Being sure you're more on point and you're trading your time for something of value to yourself.
So super. So that looks like about a half an hour, which is what we do here. And so I'm going to say, let's wrap it up. This is chapter 8, or will be when it is posted online and on our YouTube channel. And we have 2 more chapters coming, and then we'll see what comes after that. So have a great week. Stay safe, stay well, stay happy, and make some decisions.
Yes. Bye, everybody.